Hello, welcome. Hopefully, I'm doing it right this time. Welcome to Psychic Connections. I'm just trying to make sure everything is up and going. One sec. You guys let me know if you can see me. I would truly appreciate that. Hi! Yay! We're working today. Awesome! Thank you for letting me know. So, welcome to Psychic Connections. I'm so glad you guys could join me. This is going to be really, really cool. I've got some great questions this week. And of course, all of you who send them in, they're going in order as they come in. So I will announce it. So if I don't get to it today, just know that it's on the list. And if in 2 weeks I don't get your question, just resend it in and I will make sure that you, and let me know that I missed it and I'll put it on there. Hi, how are you? Okay, so the first question that we have is a really good question. And this is more along for the healers, okay? Hello, how are you? I'm so glad to hear from you. I'm glad you joined us. This is from Christy. So Christy's question is, she has a question regarding clairaudience and clairvoyance. How can one determine the difference between the messages meant for themselves and their personal journey versus that could be meant for someone else? Really good question. Okay, so as a psychic, when we go in to do it, and it depends on how long you've been actually working on it. And by the way, I will be having classes for everybody at the end of April. So one of them will be, send it to ascendingsoulsjourney@gmail.com. You can look in the about section. So one of the classes is going to be all about psychic development, where I can help you guys really learn to work the tools that you've been given. Okay, now for those of you who are not aware, clairaudience is when we hear the messages from the other side. Clairvoyance is when we see it. So for myself, I see it, I hear it, I feel it, and I just know it. So I've kind of been given, and I'm an empath. I have it all. So when we are looking at ourselves, what I do for me, and this works really well, and I had to go through all the trials and errors to figure out what to do and how to do it, I ask first. I ask them my question about me. So when they answer me, I know that that's pertaining to me. Okay, then I will ask to see it, or I hone in and I'm able to actually see what it is that they're telling me. And thank you so much. I love you. And I'm able to hone in and see what they're trying to show me. Now, as far as knowing whether it's for you or for someone else, thank you. I love you. It is all about looking at the detail, listening to the detail. So when you hear it, okay, Christy, when you hear the message, ask specifically to your guide, is this for me? Is this for so-and-so? Because in the beginning years, when I was really young, I mean, people would just walk up and start asking me questions. I was like 8 years old and they'd tell me their whole life story. And it was like, I don't know you, stranger danger, you know what I mean? And they would start asking me questions because as a healer, people are drawn to us. So when they approach you, make sure that you're asking specifically for you or specifically for someone else. And that's the way that you're going to do that. Her second, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, send me a message. And I do hope that you join the psychic development class that will start in the beginning of April, or the end of April. We're almost halfway through April. And then second part of that question, is it typically the case that you receive both if you have a gift of clairaudience? No, no. If you only have clairaudience, you are only able to hear them. And that's what you want to focus in. Now, if you're hearing more than one voice talking to you, ask them to go through your guide. Hopefully you know the name of your guide. If not, I'll teach you how to do that through the psychic development class. But this is all about you making sure that you're hearing exactly what you need to hear. You won't see it. If you don't have the gift of vision, of the visual, you won't see it. You will only hear it. So those are really, really good questions. And the next, thank you, Christy. The next one, okay, so this is from one of my guidance clients, and she and I have already talked about it, and it's actually a really good question. So her question is, are we meant to have more than one spiritual transformation in this lifetime? How many of you think you've already had one and maybe going through a second one? Now, let me read to you her other words. Okay, that's the question, but I want to read the detail to you because it really is important to this. So what she says is, I can count 4 men that I've met in my lifetime that I had a feeling of, oh, whoa, this is amazing, fireworks all over the place. The last one disappeared into thin air last year. I can count one guy that I've met in my lifetime that I didn't initially have fireworks for, but after a period of time, she realized that she had developed feelings for this person. When she told this person about it, then he played the little games and turned into, as she phrases it, a jackass. Okay, anybody dealing with a runner, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, they can be real jackasses, and that's not the wording I would use. Okay, so he did a 180 on her when she professed her feelings. Kind of sounds like the soulmate journey, right? After more than 5 years of communicating back and forth, he lived his own life. She professed her feelings to him, and he continued, thank you, he continued to engage with her, even though he was off doing his own thing in other relationships. Whatever he was doing, he continued to communicate with her. The only difference of all the guys above was the guy I met last year. I went into a frenzy of taking online intimacy courses and going through hypnotherapy sessions. My thought process, which I think was my subconscious, was, holy crap, I need to do everything I can to get myself prepared for amazing things that are about to happen. That didn't happen with the other guys. So what happened with me? When I was about 27 years old, I had a spiritual transformation. Now, through this transformation, now I already knew as a little girl what I was supposed to do, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to. Okay. I mean, I did readings and all of that, but I didn't want to grasp what I do for you now. Okay. I didn't want to do it on a full-time basis. So as I went through my first transformation, we're going to call it first transformation, I was able to go through, I've taken NLP classes, I'm trained in that, I'm trained in a lot of different things, which is how I help my guidance clients, right? And in addition to psychic ability. But I was able to come out of it on a financial gain side. So I was able to go through and heal everything that I needed to heal so I could start making money. And once that was done, boom, I just started moving forward. I didn't touch love. I didn't go back. I did not heal everything that needed to be healed. So from the age of 27, 28 years old until my transformation over 20 years later, I repressed it. And some people, and I had to ask for guidance and clarity on this particular question, because some people do say that you go through more than one. And the truth is, if you're going through one right now, I guarantee if you look back in your 20s, you also had something very, very similar at that time. But if we don't finish it, and that's free will. right? If we choose not to finish it, if we don't finish it, it will carry over and it will continue. And what happens along the way is you continuously pick the same type of pattern. It's the same thing over and over again. So when you listen to me talk about her story, she's had 5 men in her life where they all ran away. Where's the pattern in that, right? She's picking unavailable, emotionally, physically unavailable men, all right? So she's actually sabotaging herself by picking these people. It's like we go through and we say, okay, I want you, but our subconscious, our soul is connected to the subconscious, says, yeah, I know you're going to be a runner. And then they run away, and then we say, whoa, I'm abandoned again. I feel like somebody left me. I'm not wanted. I'm rejected. But in reality, that is what she attracted to her. Okay? So she didn't complete the first transformation. That's because there isn't more than one. She repressed it. So if you don't do it way back then, those of you in your 20s and 30s right now going through a spiritual transformation, I promise you, if you do not finish it, it will come back in your 40s and 50s. And I even have clients in their 60s that are dealing with this. I have one woman who's close to 70. So it doesn't go away. This is our lessons in life that we need to learn in order to be on our spiritual path. So I do hope that helps some of you guys. That was a really good question. Now this one is very emotional, and I like it. I like it, and that is from Jennifer Stafford, and she is one of my guidance clients. Beautiful, beautiful lady, inside and out. Now, this one is from Mandy Williams. So, Mandy has a 2-part question. Well, actually, it's 2 questions, and I'm going to read them both today because she was on the list last week but wanted to revise one, so it didn't make it on that. Her first question is, why is it so hard to let go of the pissed off feeling you have towards people that have hurt you? Good question. Thank you. That's my IT guy. Even though I think I've forgiven them, the idea of them annoys me, weighs on me like a burden, and I've tried to let go and don't know why it's so hard. So I'm going to relate my life to this, okay? Now, I want all of you to understand when I share my life stories with you, it is to help you, because through my journey, I realized they showed me through my dreams, very profound dreams, by the way, that every person I met, every situation I encountered was so that I could walk in alignment with my path, which is helping all of you, okay? Whether you be a healer or not, it's all about helping each other. It's about us together, working together as the collective consciousness, right? When I talk about my stories, like I can tell you about my mom. She's a narcissist, right? Am I crying? No. Am I upset? No. Am I angry? No. Okay. Because I actually healed it. I went back, I reviewed everything, and I was able to heal it and let it go. So now, when I speak of that person, my mom, it does not hurt me at all. I actually have a great amount of love for my mother, very, very much. If it weren't for her, I would not have had many of the wonderful things that took place in my life, regardless of how she treated me. There was still a good, positive aspect to that relationship, and that was a karmic relationship. So when we're talking a karmic relationship, it is about not just healing issues in this lifetime, it can be healing issues in last lifetime. So in order to actually heal it, even though we feel that we have, okay, we have to really go back and we have to go in, which is what I do with my guidance clients. We dig down deep. Okay, we dig down deep, we pull that shit out, and we heal it, and off it goes. And now we can talk about that person, and we don't have any ill will, no anger, no sorrow, no sadness, nothing. It's just life. It's just life. So when you still have that annoying feeling about that person, it doesn't mean that you need to interact with them. Keep in mind, a lot of these people, you have to literally cut them out of your life, right? You can't continue to function. Yes, I am. And you can't continue to function while they're engaging with you if they bring you that kind of hostility. So it is very important to go back and do that healing. That is why you're still pissed off when you think of them, when you talk about them, or you're around them. So the healing isn't completed, okay? So I hope that helps you, Mandy. And Mandy's second question is, how do you know if you're doing the right things to get ahead in life? And let me clarify this. What she's trying to say, hello, Portugal. What she's trying to say is, how do you know if what you're doing is what the universe wants you to do? Okay? Really, really good question. That's like saying, how do we know when we're on our life path? When we're doing what we're supposed to do. When we're doing what we're supposed to do, when we're doing what the universe wants us to do, things go very, very smoothly for the most part. I'm not saying you won't be tested. You will be tested, okay? I will have narcissists contact me and I will not deal with a narcissist. No point, okay? They don't want to fix themselves, right? So I won't deal with a narcissist. That is why I book those guidance calls ahead of time before I take my guidance clients. I need to find out if they're suicidal. I need to find out if they're a narcissist, all of these things that help me to be able to help them. If I can't help them, I will not take them, because that's a lot of time. It's a lot of my time to work with my beautiful guidance clients who I love, each and every one of them. So this is truly about paying attention to those synchronicities, all right? I went to California over the weekend. I'm gonna move. I'm moving back home, all right? I'm healed, I'm ready. I'm being pulled to go back to the ocean. That's where I grew up. I'm a Southern California girl. So I'm going back. I found a home. So my IT guy, my 21-year-old, and I are gonna move out there together. Send it to my email, okay, and I'll address that for you during a live session. So as I go back, I start asking about my twin flame. I actually have a twin flame in this lifetime, not just a soulmate, although it starts off at the soulmate journey, etc. We don't want to go into that. But I asked about it, and here I am on the plane. Now, I booked the plane, it got all messed up. Mercury's in retrograde. So I booked the plane, everything got messed up. Okay, we can take that as a negative sign, like, oh, maybe this isn't meant to be, if it's this much of a hassle. Nope, in the morning, my son and I said, okay, we're gonna try it one more time. If it goes through, we're meant to go. If it doesn't go through, we won't, okay? It went through, boom, like that. No problem, we got a better deal by waiting in the morning. I started seeing my angel numbers. I keep seeing 44444, which means you're on the right path. They're helping you to get to your goal. Okay, for those of you who don't know what that number means. So as we get on the plane, we get on, we sit down, they start the engine and sounds like a car that's gonna break. And we're like, oh crap. We literally sat there, right there on the plane for 3 hours. Tell me that wasn't a test, right? So finally we get there. A 2 hour, 20-minute flight turned into 6.5 hours. Okay. So needless to say, we were a little bit irritable. When I sat down in my seat, I started looking and I saw my twin's last name. It's a very, very uncommon last name. Hardly ever see it. And I looked at it, I'm looking at it, going, okay, what did I just ask? Okay, you got to remember what you asked. So as I'm send that to my email, okay? Or look on my website. My website has everything listed that I offer as far as readings go. So as I'm looking at his name, his last name, I'm thinking, oh, okay. And then I remembered what I had asked, because it had been 3 hours, right? As we get there, we're driving to the property. I look up and I see his name and my name. It was a business and it was called blank and blank. And I was like, whoa. Now, what that's saying, you see, he grew up in the same area that I did. We were about 30 minutes apart. And where I'm moving to is on the ocean. And that's where he actually lived, in that general vicinity. So I was getting the sign saying, yes, it is the right, you are meant to come back. Now, that doesn't mean that he's coming, although I know he is. That doesn't mean that he is coming, or that, we're going to have that conversation or anything like that. We're on a different level. But what it means is, this is the right place for you to be, and your soulmate, your twin flame, has brought you here. This is your spiritual path. This is where you're meant to be. So it can be a little bit confusing. Look for the synchronicities, look for the signs, and if you meditate, like I recommend all the time, and that's why I made that video, and they helped me make the guided meditation video, which is on Vimeo. You can click the link below. I'll put it in this once it posts live. So I do hope that helps you. Okay, the next question is from Sherry. Hi, Sherry. How do you know if you're actually done with your soulmate or just separated during the healing stage? That's a really, really good question. San Diego, love you. When you are no longer angry with your soulmate, because they can be a real dick, right? Okay, if they're the runner. And us as a chaser, we're needy, we're weak, we lose our confidence. So we've got two opposite ends right there. As you go through your soulmate journey, you have moments of worshiping them. You put them way up here. You see them as if they are like no one else. Because of that really intense connection, you hold them up high. Now they, on the other hand, are doing the exact same thing with you. And the truth is, the runner feels they are not good enough for the chaser. The chaser feels that they are not wanted, that they are abandoned, that they are not good enough for the runner. So they all have their own issues to deal with and heal. So as you go through your journey, and the universe and angels are working on the subconscious connected to the soul to push that stuff up, and you're working, hopefully, working on healing from the conscious mind down and meeting it at the soul level, which is here. Okay, so you're meeting here. You will go through periods when we're talking the chaser. You will go through periods of worshiping your soulmate. You will go through periods of complete anger, calling them every name in the book, telling yourself, why am I doing this? This person's such a jackass, right? You will go through and say all of these different things. And then, as you heal, you become more in alignment and you understand what the journey is truly about. When we understand what the soulmate journey is about, which is all about the spiritual transformation, it's about aligning who we are with who we're meant to be, getting back on track, back on path of what we were put here to do. Then we understand that they're just like us, and now we're like equal, okay? They have their flaws and they have their strengths, so do we. So as they do this, they're healing. Thank you. They're healing, and you feel it. And you can feel that intensity of what they're going through at that time. And you'll feel it in your stomach. You'll feel like, it'll take your breath away at times. But as you release all of your wounding and you understand what you're going through, you won't be angry with your soulmate anymore. When you're no longer angry with your soulmate is when you know that the healing is done. That's the first part of that. Now, how do you know when it's separated when it's done? Is when you're not angry with them. So when we're saying, how do you know if you've done the work with your soulmate or just separated during the healing stage? when there's no more anger, when there's no more hate, when there's no more blame, when you become accountable for your actions involved in that relationship. Chaser oftentimes thinks that, yeah, no, I didn't do anything wrong, but they did. Okay. And correct. Absolutely. So Miranda just said, when you're angry with them, you may be angry with yourself as well. Yes, and you're going to go through a lot of anger stages. The universe is healing things in the subconscious, bringing it up to the surface. You don't know why you'll burst out in anger. I was angry for 8 months. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I'm a healer. People are drawn to me, right? So I walk in the grocery store, the person behind me starts telling me about their divorce. I don't care about your divorce, you know what I mean? It's like, but I understand why they're doing it. So I do listen. I always do. I always have. Not while I was doing that. First 8 months, actually, it was about 10 months. I didn't want to help anybody. I don't want to help. Nope, I was angry. As they push these things up, you're going to feel these different stages of anger, resentment, denial, all kinds of different things. So I hope that answered your question. And the last question we have for today is from Mary in Iowa. Hi, Mary. I know you're watching. Her question is, when we are hearing ringing in our ears, is that truly a sense of angel downloads, or is it just through our dreams? No, no. As you go through your spiritual transformation, you will hear the ringing in your ears. Now, I've heard ringing in my ears for years and years, but it got very, very intense. You see, on the other side, it's very different over there. It's very beautiful. There's no hate, there's no anger, there's no jealousy, there's no blame. It's truly about unconditional love for everyone on the other side, okay? There are no narcissists. They stay down here, okay? But this is all about the journey that you're going through. So as we connect with the other side, the ringing becomes very profound in our ears. If you're hearing ringing in your ears, yep, for years, me too. I don't know if you're a healer, Jessica, but if you are, it probably will not go away. That means you've been going through your spiritual transformation for quite some time. Remember, the very beginning of this message today was all about me explaining in my 20s, I started my journey and I didn't stop. I've had ringing in my ears since I was in my 20s because I've been connected. They've been telling me, do the work, do the work, do the work. Nope, ain't gonna, I'm really stubborn. And, okay, send me an email, Jessica, for the psychic development. That's what we're going to be working on, okay? How to use your gifts and actually be able to help not only yourself, okay, because we want to be able to help ourselves, but help other people as well, okay? So as you go through this journey, now once you're done with the journey, eventually it will stop. Well, let's say it won't completely stop, but it will reduce unless you are a healer. If you're a healer, it's not going to go away. It's not, because that connection is there and that connection's not going to go away. If you continue as a person who's a non-healer to connect with the other side, it may not reduce a whole lot, maybe just a little bit. Where it's not really profound. I have ringing in my ear all the time. So I really have to channel to listen to my messages, and I am able to do that, which is what I'll teach you guys. So I hope that helped you with that. Dreams, yeah, you're gonna get all of that in your dreams as well. They download messages through multiple different ways. So they do it in your dream state, they do it in your day state. They tell you things through synchronicities, through angel numbers. You will hear voices. You will actually hear very, very profound voices, and they will communicate. Mary, I know you've heard them. Yeah. So I do hope that helps you. And gosh, you guys, this has been absolutely wonderful. And as we continue to go along, because we're just starting, we can extend the time. But right now, I don't want to take everybody's time up for too long. Okay. So yes, I'm going to be offering different classes starting in April. If you are interested in learning a specific area when it comes to metaphysics, psychic development, absolutely those classes are going to start the end of April. I will also be doing how to create the love life that you want, okay? So if anybody's interested in that class, send me an email, but there will be a multitude of more coming in May. So this is all to help all of you. I love each and every one of you, and have a wonderful day. Much love.